Hey, what's up YouTube? So I figured I'd make a care video on green tree monitors. And right here we're looking at my pair of green tree monitors. The one basking on the branches, Emerald, he's my male. And the one on the cork tube is Jade, she's my female. So the first thing I want to talk about is their housing. So, as you can see, this is a pretty big cage here. Let me back up so you guys can see. And there's Sierra. So this cage is 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide, and 2.5 feet deep. This is actually the minimum cage size for tree monitors. And this is because even though that they are a small monitor, they're very active and they require lots of room to run around. Yeah, right now they're just kind of chilling out. They're still full from eating. But some other things that you want in their enclosure. You guys can see I have this cork sheeting on the walls. It's also back there. Sorry, it's kind of foggy in here from my my fogger machine. Now the walls are important because they need this to be able to climb up and down the walls. Like I said, they are very active. They also have the cork sheeting on their nest box right up there. I don't know how well you guys can see that. They also need lots of climbing branches, as you guys can see in here, and lots of foliage to hide in. They do require a nest box that's right up there. As you guys can see, it's got a little perch coming out in a hole. Inside the nest box is damp moss, and it's damp on one side and dry on the other, and that way they can choose where they want to sleep and whatnot. They also need like hides, like this big cork tube that I have in here. Sorry again, my fogger is really fogging up the place. Maybe I should turn it down a little bit while I do this video. Hold on here. Let's see. There we go. And then the bottom here, my substrate. What you want to use for these monitors, since they like a lot of humidity, you want to use substrates that hold in the humidity. So in here I have moss mixed with cypress mulch. And there's actually more moss than there is the very fine cypress mulch. And that holds the humidity in there. Also, the way that this cage is built is to hold humidity, heat and humidity both. This is very important. You see I have a vent on the bottom here, and then I also have a vent in the back, and that's for the airflow and to trap in the heat and humidity. There's no screen anywhere in this cage, because you don't want it getting too dry in there. Now, what else about this enclosure here? I have built some things into the enclosure. The way that I built it, I don't know if you guys can see up here with the lights. I have 2 basking spots, one for each monitor, and both of them are different temperatures. I have one that's 120 degrees, and I have one that's 110 degrees. And this way they can choose where they want to go, and the monitors are not fighting over the same basking area. I also have a UV light up there. That's important for vitamin D3 production. They have a 5.0 UV light. I also have here that's empty. This socket here, that's for a nighttime ceramic heat emitter. The reason I don't use a red bulb or blue or black night bulb is because it still lets off light. And reptile eyes are different than humans' eyes. We have 3 cones in our eyes. They have 4 cones, which makes that light, those nighttime lights, look very bright to them, like daylight. So you want to use a ceramic heat emitter, and I'll show you what it looks like. I haven't had to use it yet this year, but it lets off absolutely no light, and I just use that for nighttime heat in the winter, but it hasn't gotten cold enough yet in my house, so I haven't had to use it. The other thing in here, like I said, they do need lots of humidity. So up here, that looks like a spray nozzle, and then next to it looks like a clear tube. The clear tube is actually the fogger tube, and the little nozzle is for an automatic sprayer. Now the fogger, it's just one of those, I think it's like the Haba fogger, and there it is right up there. You guys can see the Repti fogger, and that works quite well. Also, as you can see, like everything in this cage, their hides are mid-level to at the top because these guys are really arboreal. So you wouldn't want to put hides on the bottom of their cage. You want to put it high up because in the wild, that's where they spend most of their time, is mid to high level in trees. And as you can see also, their feeder dish I have put mid-level instead of on the ground. And this was through trial to see which one they preferred. I had two bowls, one in the middle and one on the bottom, and they much prefer to eat in the middle. So this is actually a bowl for a stainless steel for parrots, and I just hooked it up in there. I also made this kind of tree branch thing. I bought the cork tube, and then I screwed together and cut branches. And when I built this cage, I measured for this UV light and for these basking lights in here to get the correct temperatures and then to get the correct distance from that UV light. You want the perches, the highest perch, you want to be between 6 and 12 inches from that UV light. If it's any closer, it could be harmful, and if it's any farther away, they're not going to be able to get the beneficial UVB from the light. So it's very important that you measure that out. And the same with the basking. You want to make sure you have the correct temperatures. Now what I use in here to see if the basking temperatures are correct, I use a temp gun, and I just point and shoot on the different basking areas, and it tells me the temperatures. I also have two other gauges in here for temperature. I have one that shows me the warm side of the cage, which is the higher level, and then I have one that shows me the bottom temperatures of the cage. Now, you want the warm area of the cage to be between 80 and 90 degrees, and the cool area of the cage, and also your nighttime temps when you turn off the daylights, to be no lower than 70 degrees. Any lower could cause stress to these lizards, and they could get sick. So you want to make sure you keep those temperatures accurate. Now the humidity in here, you want it to stay at least 70% or higher. These guys love humidity, and that's why I have the mister and the fogger. And then I also spray in here a couple times a day to keep it right for these guys. If you don't keep them humid enough, they can have shedding problems, which can lead to the loss of tail tips and toes. So that's really important. Now the diet for these guys is mostly insects, and they do eat every single day. I feed them crickets, roaches, superworms, mostly crickets and roaches. The superworms are kind of fatty, so I don't feed those too often. I have offered other insects, but they don't really seem to like them. And usually each monitor eats about a dozen insects every day. And I do dust the insects once a week with calcium, and then once a month with reptile vitamins that include calcium and the vitamin D3. And this is because their UV light, no UV light is as good as natural sunlight, so you need to make sure that they're getting enough vitamin D3. And this allows them to absorb calcium that they're getting from their diet. So it's very important. Also, all the insects are gut loaded. They're fed fresh fruits and vegetables before they're fed to my monitors. Other things that they can eat is ground turkey. I mix ground turkey with a little bit of egg, and I put supplements in there, and they really seem to love that. The other thing is handling these monitors. They are quite friendly when they're not afraid of people. You have to handle them very gently and kind of let them do their own thing. If you try to grab them or make them do things that they don't want to do, they can become frightened and they won't want to come out. It's very hard whenever you're getting wild-caught tree monitors to get them to trust you and to be tame, just for the simple fact that they are wild-caught. And like I said, you have to be really gentle and you have to be really patient with them. And then they will come around. If you want a really friendly monitor, it's best to start off with a little baby and raise it up yourself. This is what I did with my male emerald. And then Jade, I got her when she was a juvenile and finished raising her up the rest of the way. And both of these monitors are quite friendly, quite curious, and outgoing. They're so cute. Aren't ya? You're so cute. Alrighty, well, I guess that's... Oh, also, in holding the monitors, whenever you do hold them and let them out of their enclosure, don't hold them more than like maybe 10-15 minutes at a time. This is because, you know, your house is not as hot and humid as they need it, like in their cage. So you want to make sure to put them back so they can get warmed up and have access to their humid environment. Alrighty, well, that's pretty much the basics. Oh, wait. The watering. I didn't even talk about that. Okay, whenever you're watering these guys, they do like to be misted. They like to drink whenever you mist the water rather than drink out of a water bowl. Now, I do have a water bowl in here. I'll show you. Right here in the bottom here. It's pretty big. They can actually fit in it if they want to. But I almost never see them go and use their water bowls. Usually first thing in the morning when I mist in here, they drink right from the sprayer. Alrighty, so I think that's covered the basics now. Yeah. Alrighty, so let me know if you guys have any questions. Alrighty, so I forgot to mention, these guys can also eat pinky mice. Emerald here actually acts like he's afraid of the mice. He won't eat them, but Jade will, the female. But with feeding the mice and feeding the ground turkey that I was mentioning earlier, and with the egg, you don't want to feed those all the time as a staple diet. You really want to stick to insects as their main diet, because that's mainly what they eat in the wild. Whenever I do feed these guys the ground turkey and the egg, or, you know, pinky mice, I will only feed that to them maybe like once, maybe twice a month. But for the rest of the time, I feed them insects. Because, again, you know, that's mainly the wild diet. Emerald looks like such a lazy lounge lizard right now. He's so cute. I love him. I love you, Emerald. Yeah. You're so cute. Look at his little face. How can anybody not love that cute little face? I wonder if he'll... Ollie's perking up. You want me to open the door? Huh? You want to come out, don't you? Oh, here's all the fog coming out. Emerald, you're so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're a cute boy. Yeah, he was just trying to breed with Jade again, but Jade was not having it, so she went into hiding at the moment. Yeah.